Hey, I'm Sith King.
And I'm Sonic Sons.
And we're the Rambling
And
Reviewers.
we're recording the third thing today. We're going to make so many episodes. We're reviewing Superman 4, The Quest for Peace.
Also known as shit.
Yeah, you remember in our Man of Steel review, we said, we really want the old school Superman. When we say that, we want Superman 1 and 2, not 4. Definitely not 4.
Oh.
Everyone knows this is the bad one.
We're doing something a little different today. Normally, we do things after we've seen them.
Yeah, we're doing a progressive review, so if you saw Equestrian Girls, it's a bit like that, but with less Hulk rage. It's just going to be...
If you've seen our Avatar, well, no, our Last Airbender review,
yeah.
Okay, there's definitely going to be less Hulk rage.
It's hard to beat your performance in Equestrian Girls. Anyway,
yeah, I yelled so loud and long that I actually lost my voice for part of the next day.
Yeah, you did.
And Last Airbender was just so awful.
Right.
I personally don't count that as a movie. I don't count that as a movie so much as it is
an instruction video on how not to make films.
Oh.
So basically, yeah, we're going to be pausing the movie here and there and making our review as we go. So both our first time seeing it, though you've already seen a review about it.
Yeah, I saw Nostalgia
the
Critics.
honest trailer.
I'm going to try to make some original content here.
So we're at 1823? Can you see from where you are at?
Hey, 10s and 8s look very similar on a faraway... Yeah, it's 1823.
Okay, don't...
Hey, don't blame me.
Okay,
I have bad eyesight.
Just don't touch the wire is all I'm saying.
I wasn't touching the wire, I was touching the table.
But you... Alright.
Okay, but in my defense, I'd like to say that on digital clocks from far away, 0s and 8s look very similar.
So anyway, back to the movie. We're at 1823 now, and what has happened? Let's see. First, there was a guy singing in Russian in space.
Because he was Russian.
Because he was Russian. It was kind of fun.
Then Superman talked in space.
Then he happens to get hit by this random piece of debris for no reason.
Which, again, sci-fi writers have no sense of scale. All of space, and it hits the one guy.
Yeah. Oh, well. Superman talks...
They consider a close call if, like, an asteroid comes within 400,000 miles of Earth.
Pretty much.
Yeah, this is God deciding he hates your... This is if God is Simon Cowell.
Pretty much.
I think your singing sucks!
We should do that. Yeah, we keep saying we should do that. We should do, like, extra things with all these little ideas of ours. Superman talks in space somehow, and then he goes to his family farm, which is up for sale for some reason. I don't know where his parents are at, or if something happened. Did that happen in like Superman 3 or something? Were they dead to begin with?
I think
it's been so long since I've seen the original first two movies.
Yeah, we should do that.
We should watch movies in order once in a while. But whatever, we are now.
Which is really kind of strange, as the Nostalgia Critic and Linkara pointed out. Technically, Superman Returns is a sequel to the...
Well, yeah, this is canon discontinuity.
For good reason.
Yeah.
So the Daily Planet has been bought out by Rupert Murdoch.
Yep. He's going to be all evil about stuff.
And he's like, yes, we plan to make money! Trust me, I have no problem with the free market whatsoever. But, it's we're going to increase sales by reporting on bad news! Woo! Really? Is that shocking? I mean, maybe it's my 2013 sensibilities, but, like, I thought that reporting on bad news was, like, 90% of what newspapers do.
Yeah, it's,
What was the Daily Planet reporting? Things are fine! 5 billion people still alive! Minor exceptions here and there.
You know what? I would love to print that in a newspaper at some point. And just be like, everyone's still alive!
Most of the world's water is not acid! Millions not addicted to drugs.
And in the meantime, you want to do the reverse on the lottery. If I was reporting on the lottery, I'd be like, and in lottery news today, millions of people did not win the lottery. And now on to sports.
How bad was your reporting when they have to point out that bad news sells?
I totally get the idea that, like...
Puppy crosses street!
I totally get the idea that...
What are these written in crayon?
No. I get the idea the Daily Planet was, like, responsible journalism and this guy's being a hack. I get the idea. I don't understand why Clark randomly goes to his farm and he goes to find the spaceship, which looks like a witch's cauldron for some reason.
Or a tree stump.
And
pulls out what looks like a chunk of kryptonite, but is secretly, it's not a kryptonite
it's
chunk.
It's anti-kryptonite. It makes your powers better. And for some reason, he thinks he needs this now. I don't know why.
Yeah, I mean, it's... This villain doesn't have a... I mean, this film doesn't have a villain so far.
Well, it has Lex Luthor, obviously.
Okay, it has Lex Luthor, but really, by this point, he's lost as many times as Team Rocket or Lord Zed. you can pretty much just beat him.
Right, so
with the Empire State Building.
You could. But yeah, I'm hoping they're gonna be like, oh, he had this secret plan and a need for that crystal, and not like he just randomly took it for no good reason. And okay, I'll grant you that he's selling the place, but he doesn't have an offer yet, so he doesn't need to get rid of it yet. And it says if you take the crystal, the thing will go dark and you won't hear his mother's voice again. Like,
yeah, dude,
that sounds important.
That's like such an important character motivation for Harry Potter that he was willing to put himself in contact with the Dementors.
Yeah.
Just to hear his mother's voice again. Let me remind you, people, if you've never read or
you forgot.
Yeah, the part of his mother's voice that he heard, her begging for his life.
Yeah, it was not really a happy moment. So we'll see what's up with that. And the Rupert Murdoch's daughter has a crush on Clark Kent.
For some reason.
Yeah.
Oh my god, that nerd is so hot, I want to ride his warp nacelle.
Oh my god.
Wow, that's actually dirtier than I intended that to come out as.
You have a knack for that.
Yeah, I swear I do not intend this. But apparently, a local summit of nations has just failed. So the president basically came on the news and said, hey, guess what? We're all fucked.
You're trying to say that geeks are too fast? Is that what
Wow! I was coming with a phallic object that was also nerd-related, you ass!
Oh, okay. You just stumble onto these things so easily.
I swear I do not intend them to do that!
All right.
Okay, so
moving on.
The president has just come out into the news and said, yeah, the summit failed. The local G20 or whatever failed, and we're all screwed. Well, we will strive to be second to none in the nuclear arms race. Why? This movie is taking place before the end of the Cold War.
Yep.
And I'm guessing. Okay, hang on. I have the box here. Sorry, I touched the cords.
All right.
1987.
Yeah.
Now, if I am correct, the Soviet Union was collapsing under bankruptcy at this time, which would finally reach its peak when it totally collapsed in like 92, 93.
Yeah.
And it was revealed that we had roughly 1,000 times more missiles than them.
Well, it was like 3 times more or something. I mean, it wasn't that big.
Still.
Yeah, it collapsed in 91, says Wikipedia. So, I mean, I presume this is set like in early 80s,
87.
And it was filmed in 87. When is it set?
I don't know.
It could easily be set a few years earlier.
But even then, the tension between the United States and Russia had been dying down for this period of time.
And more to the point, the general problem here is, oh man, the nations don't like each other. They're all getting lots of nukes. So I say to Sith King, so basically the main threat here is a threat that we already faced in the real world, and it all turned out fine?
Yeah, dude. I mean... So, the way Superman can win here is doing nothing.
Yeah, pretty much nuclear deterrence is going to work out great. Yep. And you can take a vacation. And
I'll have a bit of a rant on this. I've been thinking about it. But,
yeah.
So, essentially, the president has just come on saying, yeah, we're all fucked. Now, it will be fine if we take these measures, at which point I presume he's going to outline,
build more nukes.
Panic. Deliver your local uranium supplies to your local government person.
I'm sure there's plutonium on every corner drugstore, but here in 1955... Anyway.
Take the uranium from Batman and his nuclear-powered car. No, I'm serious. 1960s Batman, his car had atomic batteries.
What is an atomic battery? I mean, nuclear physics doesn't store energy for further use. As far as I'm aware.
Yeah, it doesn't. It's basically derived around the power of splitting the atom. You can't unless a battery's like this big chunk of uranium that you just have split.
You split as needed. I don't know. So yeah, it's Oh, and of course we got to start the don't make this a drinking game at home. But if you were thinking about drinking game-esque things, every time Superman flies towards the camera, it is the exact same shot. It's like 12 times during this movie. We've seen it twice or thrice already.
He's just staring at the camera, shaking his arms slightly like, whoosh.
Yeah, it just looks so bad.
It's fake. And
you know, it looks surprisingly good, though. There's cosmonauts inside the space station.
Yeah, that actually
they looked like they were zero-G. And I'm like, did they just use wires? They couldn't have enough money for, like, a Vomit Comet trip, did they?
Yeah, it looks like half the effects in this film were done with Photoshop.
Yeah. Maybe they spent all the money.
Bad Photoshop.
They spent all the money on the cosmonauts, and they're like, oh, crap.
We still get the rest of the movie. No. This is, like, not... This is Photoshop, but it's like the Velociraptor dual-wielding SMGs while riding a great white shark style of fake.
That should be our new T-shirt. Just put that phrase on a T-shirt.
No, sadly, I didn't make that up. I actually saw someone made that picture.
There you
with
go.
The caption, I think this might be Photoshopped.
Yeah.
Yeah, the tagline of the first movie was, "You will believe a man can fly." Well, this one, it's, "You will believe our effects can suck."
You will also believe that there are no dead man switches on trains to stop the train from going out of control if a guy happens to just fall over for some reason.
Yeah, he didn't even, no one said, "Oh, he has a heart attack or something." Or
realistically, if he had a heart attack, he would trip the dead man switch and the train would stop. I know about safety features, at least a little bit.
I mean, heck, for all we know, he gave no indication of any other health problems. He could have just slumped over because they replaced the coffee with decaf.
See, if we make a Misty of this, we have to do that line.
I would. I've been given such great lines so far.
Yeah.
Well, I think they're great lines.
Yeah, you do. You have a lot of interesting phrases. But, I guess we'll move on for now.
Riding the warp nacelle for one.
You got back. All right, so see you later.
Okay. 23:27. Okay, I haven't been laughing the whole time. There was a pause in between.
Yeah.
But
So this kid, who I believe is overdubbed, because I guess they didn't like the actual kid's voice. But anyway, he's like, "We're gonna write a letter to Superman, and he can get rid of all the nukes." And then the Daily Planet gets the letter
and says, "Jeremy, we want you to come over here. We're gonna make you a celebrity." For some reason.
They want to sell papers, I get it.
Yeah, and it said, what do you want to say to Superman? What did your letter say? I just wish Superman said yes, he'd get rid of all the nukes. So here is the thing that here's the newspaper.
They asked him, has Superman responded? And he's like, no, he hasn't responded. Oh, well, say it again. So he says it again. And then the newspaper headline is...
Superman says, drop dead to kid.
It's so over-the-top, evil corporate media thing.
The best part is, there are some people who would say, yeah, that's in character for Superman. You ever see the site Super Dickory? It's like... This is Super Dickory Superman saying that. Oh, my God. This is just the best.
So ridiculous.
And you'll hear Lex Luthor later in the movie say, I, Lex Luthor, the greatest criminal mind of the modern era. So basically, here's how he steals a piece of Superman's hair. He busts into a museum, smashes open a display case, causing the alarms to go off, and steals the piece of hair.
And he just cuts this piece of hair off with, like hedge clippers or
No, it wasn't bolt cutters.
Bolt cutters. But the thing holds up 1,000 pounds. I mean, I will grant you that objects which have great tensile strength don't necessarily resist being cut, but I'm just guessing that it's hard to cut Superman's hair.
Yeah, I mean, heck, the Superman has to use a mirror and his heat vision in order to shave.
Yeah, I always like that idea. It's a fun idea.
So anyway, nothing really... Okay.
It's not that... It's just ridiculous. It's just
silly.
All right, we'll be back to you in a second.
3026.
What the frick just happened?
Yeah, okay.
I don't get it. Okay, so Superman / Clark is agonizing over, whether he should get rid of all the nukes, and he talks to his holographic ancestors or whatever, and they're like, don't frick with international affairs, which I can kind of see what they're saying. I mean, it would be highly illegal to steal everybody's nukes, for one thing.
Just memory kiss everyone until they don't remember how to use them. Easy.
Oh my gosh. Oh, Superman kisses everyone. That would be very, very creepy, Matt. Thank you.
Oh,
all right.
Oh, please. You know, he does it at do it at super speed, so it takes like half a second to do the entire world. And it's just like, oh, well, that worked.
Okay.
Okay, but that brings up Orwellian nature.
So he's wondering about this. It's a moral sort of dilemma. I get it. And Lois. Gosh, frick it. I will always mix all these people up. All right.
If we ever do something on Linkara, you're just going to start calling him Lois.
All right. So Lois shows up, and she's like, oh, we had this thing we were going to go do together. And Clark's like, can we get some fresh air in the balcony? And he walks off the edge of the balcony as if committing suicide. Drags her with him, makes her
into an awful falling scene. It looks like it's just scrolling really slowly.
I don't even care what it looks like. He's a dick. What kind of dick do you have to be to throw a woman off a building, making her think that she's going to die just so you can catch her? I mean, I know you want to be a pleasant surprise that you're Superman, but you don't want to throw her off a building.
Wow, congratulations. You've become me for this review.
Oh, my gosh.
And
she thought you were committing suicide at the same time.
What the fuck is wrong with you, man?
She should totally react that way and just be like, what the hell?
What the dicks, man?
And then he's like, oh, I've caught you, and we're going flying together, and they fly, and then he drops her. He's like, ah, and he just like lets her fall. And I'm freaking capping here, but like,
dude.
And then he catches her again. Like, this is not a carnival ride, Superman. You gotta just drop people.
The wind resistance alone would just shred her clothes and her hair and probably her flesh too.
I mean, the wind resistance flying physics thing has never made sense, even in Superman 1. And you could forgive it in Superman 1 because, like, okay, it was such a sweet moment, and I'll just go like hand wave
Superman
magic.
2.
Oh, he didn't fly with her in 1, did he? Just in 2?
I don't know. All I know is the moment in 2.
No, I think he flew with her in 1. She just didn't know he was Clark Kent.
Oh, okay.
Anyway, so they flew, and it was sweet, and you were like, okay, this doesn't make physical sense, but I get the feeling of the moment.
It fits in with the theme of the movie.
But when you screw up the feeling of the moment by being a dick, it just leaves the audience with their mouths hanging open like, what the hell? And how is this even related to him freaking deciding about nuclear things? Like, I wonder if I should get rid of all the nuclear bombs. Well, it's time to throw a woman off a building. That should help. And the one way that could possibly work, because he says to her, you're the one person I can talk to. And I'm like, okay, maybe he wants her advice. He trusts her, and she's a human, like a natural-born human and everything. Maybe she has a more earthly perspective.
And then he memory kisses her again.
First
he erases her memory of who he is.
He doesn't ask her about the nuclear weapons at all. She's like, oh, I totally remember everything that was erased by the memory kiss all of a sudden, which was a dumb power in the first place, and I don't want them to bring it up again. Not only do they bring up that it happened at the end of Superman 2, which was otherwise a fun movie, then they do it again, and he erases her memory again, and now she's like, oh, why am I standing out here without my jacket? And I'm like, what's the point of that scene, you idiots? I don't know what you were trying. You could totally do it. I mean, it's kind of dumb that, to reveal his secret identity twice, okay? But if you get over that for a second, I could get it. He reveals, they fly around, and he talks about the moral dilemma. And then they could have a discussion about that. But no, we just cut it off, and I don't even know what we're doing.
Oh, God, it's just so dumb.
I don't know. It feels like the scene was plastered in. They're like, oh, we need another 3 minutes of this movie. Let's do this random crazy crap that makes no sense.
Oh, my God. And it just... Why?
Why? Why, indeed? I
mean, it turned you into me for a moment. They're getting really angry.
I'm not even I'm baffled. I don't get angry like you do. I just go like, what the heck? It's just like, it's funny how dumb it is. I don't know.
This is actually the Superman who would act... I'm not actually convinced right now. That drop dead, the paper earlier said, Superman says, drop dead, kid. I'm not entirely convinced that was them making that up. That was probably honest reporting.
That could be it. He just decided to be a dick randomly.
Drop dead, kid. I'm Superman, an immortal super god. You will worship me.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, and if you're going to do nuclear threat as your threat, freaking build it up a little. You know, show tensions growing between the nations. Beyond.
Show test footage.
Yeah. Show, like, or they could have skirmishes, you know, like a couple of warships got shot or blown up or whatever by mines or something like that. Something, make it feel like the Cuban Missile Crisis. That's what they're doing here. Make it feel like the Cuban Missile Crisis.
But this is not the Cuban Missile Crisis. This is... I don't know what this is. This is like...
This is totally normal Cold War stuff. It is, we're going to build more nukes. Really? Like you've always done?
Oh, and we're going to have a proxy war between these two nations that you've never heard of.
No, but that's not even in the movie. They didn't even mention a proxy war.
Just, oh, the summit failed. Summits fail.
Yeah.
That happens. Oh, newsflash. Politicians get nothing done. Whoop this shit.
Well, wait, imagine that. It's like, well, kids, it seems that the politicians got nothing done. Does anyone have an idea? Well, maybe we could write Superman, and he could get rid of all the politicians. And Superman flies around and grabs all the politicians and, like...
throws them into the sun.
Something ridiculous. I'm just making...
Sun!
I'm just making stuff up.
You get thrown into the sun, and you get thrown into the sun. Everybody gets thrown into the sun. I am the Oprah of throwing things into the sun. That actually sounds like the best job ever. The Oprah of throwing things into the sun.
Someone put that on your resume and see if they notice it when you apply for a job. I spent 3 years as the Oprah of throwing things into the sun. You what?
Oh my God. You know, I have to give this. For Equestrian Girls and The Last Airbender, those were painful movies. This is just funny how stupid it is.
Yeah, I gotta figure out why the difference is. But, okay, yeah, I guess we'll...
you know what? Actually, I think it is. I think we care about My Little Pony and Avatar The Last Airbender, so it would hurt worse when our trust in those series was violated.
Maybe, but we like at least the first two Supermans, you know.
Well, I don't think we saw the second one. I don't think we've seen the first one.
I saw the first one by myself, like when I was 10 or something.
Oh, well, okay, but the first two, whatever.
All right, well, we'll get back to you in a minute.
Help. 3356. Congratulations, ladies and gentlemen. It's finally happened. I'm furious. Yay! Me being furious is the only entertaining part. Okay, it's the most entertaining part.
We'll find out.
Okay, I find it entertaining.
Okay, so Superman has just pledged to get rid of all the nuclear weapons in the world. And Matt is mad about this.
Yeah, dude, this is a stupid idea.
Why is that stupid?
Okay, I'm going to be copying a bit off the Nostalgia Critics review, but they pointed out mutually assured destruction is kind of sane. Russia and the United States, the main reason they were fighting was not because of nukes. It's because of opposing ideologies, willingness to vie for control over the most part of the world, and a whole bunch of other reasons. Okay. The nuclear weapons were one of the things that kept them from engaging in conventional warfare.
Except that they did in Korea and Vietnam.
More wide scale.
More wide scale conventional warfare.
Yeah, heck, the threat that the North Koreans might call upon communist aid, meaning nuclear weapons, was what caused General MacArthur to get kicked out of North Korea.
Okay, so if there had been no nuclear weapons, MacArthur wouldn't have gotten kicked out and the conventional warfare would have gone on longer, is that what you're saying?
Yes. And even I'm a fan of mutually assured destruction. I'm a fan of nuclear I'm a fan of nations having balance over one another.
Okay.
I mean, not balance over one another, that's kind of Are nuclear weapons bad? Are they innately evil? No. A weapon is no more destructive or dangerous than its user intends it to be. Okay, granted, nukes are more destructive, but what it matters is the intent. Nuclear weapons are not what causes these problems.
Yeah. Trouble is, though, that, in the real world, we know that there was no nuclear war. But for a while, there was the fear that due to an accident, someone would think that the other side had launched their nukes. They would engage in launching their nukes as a secondary strike, which would actually be a first strike, and the other side would nuke you, and basically there's a song called 99 Red Balloons, which tells you the whole story, and everyone blows up. And I could see that. During the Cold War, people thought that might happen. And historically, there are a couple of times where it almost did. What was it? Operation Able Archer, I think?
Yeah.
And the one Russian guy was like, yeah, I don't think that's actually a nuke on the screen. Don't launch anything, you know. And potentially, you know, he had superiors that could have vetoed it anyway. But the point is, there were some times where we freaked out enough that it got close enough.
But there's... Okay, we had a few close freakouts, and then there's one man is utterly disarming the Earth.
Yeah.
Of all these nuclear weapons.
Which will prevent us from any close freakouts and potentially blowing ourselves to smithereens.
Meaning that we're... Okay, then
I mean, I can understand what you're saying. You're saying if he gets rid of the nukes, it could lead to an increase in conventional warfare. You're right. But in advance, not knowing that there is no nuclear war coming, you could say, hey, not getting rid of the nukes could lead to nuclear warfare. So on balance, it seems reasonable. I wouldn't say it's a slam dunk, but I'd say it's a reasonable idea that he's
Then what about countries that are only still existing because they have nuclear weapons?
Like North Korea.
Israel.
Or Israel.
Israel is surrounded by... Okay, let's list the list of nations that hate Israel.
Yeah.
I believe that country list name is... Everyone!
The U.S. loves Israel. But
okay, I'm sorry. Yeah, if anyone was not worried about nuclear weapons, they might invade Israel and slaughter everyone in there.
True.
And yes, nuclear weapons have the potential for great evil.
Yeah.
I'm not arguing that. I was once a fan of Hiroshima.
How are you what?
Fan of researching Hiroshima.
Okay.
The first atomic bomb device used in warfare. One of only two.
So you're saying you're aware that they are very powerful. That's what you're saying.
And devastating. And the consequences are long term.
Yeah.
But removing the nuclear weapons just because there's a bit of a flare-up right now because, the politicians again failed to do anything. Which, if you live in America, you know very well what that's like. Mm. Just the concept is just mind-boggling.
I mean, okay, but again, you do the math on this. We get rid of the nukes, and maybe somebody like Israel gets overrun. And that's terrible. We don't get rid of the nukes, and there's a chance that not only Israel, but everyone else will die also.
Maybe.
So that's what I'm saying, though. There's a bunch of maybes here, so I can see what he's going for, even if it's not a slam dunk case, as you say.
Yeah, nuclear relations is not in any way a slam dunk.
It's not simple. No.
It's not simple.
Yeah.
But it sure as hell shouldn't be presented like this. Where it's showing, nuclear weapons are totally evil.
Well, you know what I'd do, because this is a kind of a critical point. When the Rupert Murdoch guy, we kind of hate Fox News, in case you didn't notice. The Rupert Murdoch guy is, his daughter rather, shows up the thing. It's like, the world is at the brink. And Clark specifically says that is sensational, that the world is not on the brink of a nuclear war. And then the rest of the movie thus far, he goes ahead and acts as if it was on the brink. Now, it should be exactly the opposite. It should be, the world really is on the brink, and we could nuke ourselves at any time. All the leaders are freaking out. There's been fights. There's been, our safety equipment is screwed up or something like, there's major problems.
A better scene would be, he actually stops nuclear missiles in flight and throws them into the sun.
Yeah.
That would be an action scene that would be pretty cool, showing that, yes, Superman is capable of protecting the world. But here's the Watsonian perspective on why getting rid of nukes is a bad idea. They even pointed this out in the very first episode of Justice League. Not Justice League Unlimited, Justice League.
Okay.
You exist in a world where extraterrestrials, especially hostile extraterrestrials, exist.
Yeah.
We saw it in Superman 2 with General Zod and the Kryptonians.
Right.
Now, would they be able to survive a nuclear attack?
I don't know.
I don't know. But if they exist, then it stands to reason that there might be other aliens from Superman's continuity, including Starro the Conqueror, Warworld, a whole bunch of other aliens.
We might need to defend ourselves using our nukes, is what you're saying.
This was actually like I said, this was the plot of the first episode of Justice League, where a guy tricks the world into disarming all of its nuclear weapons and all its defenses so that the White Martians can come in and invade.
I see.
Yeah, and now since the world is totally defenseless, it has to rely on Superman and the others.
Yeah, okay, so what should have happened then? Here's a great idea. Tensions are very high, Clark knows it, everyone knows it, and there's an accident. and someone launches a nuke without meaning to, right? Or they saw something, a wrong blip on the radar screen. Maybe the blip is even Superman, and they thought it was a missile. That would be like a little guilt trip for him. Anyway, so the nuke goes off, and the other side's freaking out. We should launch nukes, and Superman flies in. No, wait, don't launch the nukes. It's an accident. And he finds that one nuke in flight, or like 10 nukes maybe, throws them all into the sun. And then in the aftermath of this event, he says, look, we came really close to a nuclear Armageddon. That could happen again. Not taking any chances. We're going to get rid of all the nukes. Because then you'd have a practical example. Like, we very nearly had Armageddon. You know, we could see it. It wasn't a summit. It was a nuke in flight. You know? So, and then it would make more sense. Then it would make more sense than what he's doing.
Yeah, but right now, he's just single-handedly saying, yeah, I'm going to get rid of all of your nuclear weapons. I'm not seeing anyone and yet everyone is just...
Everyone's cool with it.
Yeah, which is even more strange because he just said, none of the governments of the world are willing to take the next step and get rid of all their nuclear weapons. And yet we're going to see in the next scene, everyone getting rid of their nuclear weapons. Like without a fight.
Yeah.
So what was the problem?
I mean, I could get a little bit of, okay, you know, if they trust Superman as a third party for mutual disarmament, because that's the whole deal is, what if I disarm and the other side doesn't? But yeah, even if I thought Superman was a great guy, I'd think to myself, maybe the Russians have some nuke in a lead bunker somewhere that Superman doesn't know about, and then we're going to be screwed when we have no nukes and they've got secret nukes.
Or worse, you know, remember what the Superman's Council of Elders said?
Yeah.
If you teach the world to put all its trust in one man, even yourself, you are teaching them to be betrayed. Meaning that you should not interfere with the geopolitical matters of the planet Earth, and you should not teach them to trust one man as if he was a god. And yet he's teaching them to trust him as if he was a god!
Kind of, yeah.
It's...
I don't know, yeah. And there's a phone ringing in the background. Please ignore that. We have so many telemarketers.
Well,
All right, we'll see you in a second.
Okay.
4706.
We just witnessed the birth of Nuclear Man.
Yeah.
Literally, the birth. They fired a nuclear missile with a blob of silly putty that was Superman's protoplasm.
Oh my gosh.
With a nuclear missile into the sun, where the onboard computer apparently taught him English, taught him how to find Lex Luthor, weaved him a costume.
Did all this during a nuclear explosion. I mean, that
in the sun!
In the sun! That is an epic level computer you have right there.
Dude, why are you bothering trying to kill Superman? Patent this shit. You can clone aliens, and you have the ability to create computers that can withstand the power of the sun.
I mean, you know, it's a weird thing when so many other things you accept is like completely violating the laws of physics and it doesn't matter. But I guess it depends on the general storytelling and whether the tone is right and things like that, whether things are more acceptable. Because when things are not quite adding up, as we pointed out earlier, everything takes on a worse light. And you're just like, what the frick are you doing with the sun? How does it make... I mean, what does this do? He announces his evil plan. He's like, what is your plan, Luthor? My plan. And he pulls back the curtain, and the guy's like, the sun is bright. I'm like, that's how you're going to describe the plan, Luthor? It's like a really bright sun. Like, oh dear.
The sun is basically a giant nuclear bomb. No, it isn't! You know nothing of nuclear power!
It's a nuclear reaction. It's not a bomb.
Yes, ongoing nuclear reaction fueled by gravity and hydrogen fusion.
Yeah. Pretty much.
And then apparently it births Nuclear Man, who has giant fake press-on nails.
Ow. So like they make this special box with a computer and a bit of genetic material.
Superman goo.
And they put it on the side of
Again, you can clone an alien! You know what? This is actually more impressive than Lex Luthor in the actual universe. He paid Star Labs and a bunch of other people a lot of money, several years, to try to clone Superman. And they failed. They had to combine it with human genetics in order to make sure that it worked right.
Yeah.
And didn't disintegrate into a puddle of goo.
Yep.
The result is Superboy. Modern Superboy before the 2011 reboot. I don't know.
Okay, yeah, that's confusing.
Yeah.
It's not the same Superboy who punched a wall, is it?
No, that's Superboy Prime.
Right.
But... yeah, Congratulations, you did something that your Prime Universe copy never could. That's pretty cool. And it was in this crap stain of a movie.
So they have a box. They put the box on the side of a nuclear missile. It was so subtle. I thought that box was just sort of part of like the regular nuclear mechanism.
Yeah, congratulations. That's the subtle part of the movie.
And then he's like, okay, we need to launch. Oh, we have a weather delay. Oh, override the weather delay. Because, okay, he wants to do his thing with the nuke. But then he leans over and hits the button before the nuke is pointed vertical. And it looks like he's about to nuke Cleveland or something. Because it's clearly going to fall to Earth. And I'm like, what? Why
you bastard! Why did you do that?
Why are you nuking Cleveland? I don't even know what you're doing.
Lex, you're stupid evil, but you're not stupid evil.
Why can't you wait till he counts down to 0 and then it launches like
it would have taken 7 more seconds.
What are you doing?
You could give lack of patience lessons to Cora.
Yeah, impatience, I think that's called.
Yeah.
So yeah, and then Nuclear Man like shows up at his house because he knows where he lives and he knows that Lex is someone to talk to. And how does any of this work? I don't even know.
And then
what is this? I don't even.
And then he has Lex Luthor's voice. Gene Hackman's voice.
I guess he does. I mean, honestly, it didn't even sound that similar. I think it's because of like the echoey effect they put on it, you know.
Really? It sounds identical to me.
Well, maybe I'm just not paying attention. It's hard to pay attention with a movie like this.
The science. Oh, God.
The
science. I'm making air quotes here. So, wait. What happened to that nuclear summit failing thing? Like, are all the world's problems solved now? Because I'm thinking that if you're in a serious enough geopolitical situation that you're ready to go to nuclear war with someone, then maybe there are some more underlying tensions between your two nations than just, I have a really big bomb.
Yeah.
No, nuclear weapons are a symptom of the problem.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not going back into that debate, but in this case, the weapons are... Pointing weapons at each other is a symptom of the deeper underlying problems. The problem isn't that you're pointing weapons at each other. Okay, that's a problem, but it's not. But it's not the reason why you're pointing weapons at each other.
Not the root problem.
Yeah. So, and I'm gonna guess here they don't make an effort to solve the root problem because they're going to be busy worried about Fabio here, aka Nuclear Man.
Nuclear Man who has like no motivations of any kind, monster thing, and now he's good. I don't even know.
Because nuclear power is bad. We try. Have we beat it into your head yet?
It is a little cool. I'm trying to find good things here. It's a little cool that that Nuclear Man's first thing is like, frick you, Lex. I don't have to listen to you. And I was like, oh, that's kind of nice. Okay, cool. But yeah, I don't know, guys.
He basically took Lenny Luthor.
Yeah.
Basically, he said, "You dare defy me, Lenny Luthor? Call me a freak?" And then he makes Lenny Luthor float and spin.
And Lenny's okay with it. He's like, hey, I'm breakdancing. And I'm like, this is our villain? If you can't make Lenny Luthor afraid, who can you scare?
Dude, you have the... Okay, granted, Lenny Luthor is too stupid to realize when he's in actual danger, but...
Yes, but show me some, make him menacing for me.
Blow Lenny in half!
Well, that'd be a little
I thought that was what he was actually going to do. I thought we were going to see, like, half of Lenny go sailing out the window, and the other half splattered across the walls!
Did you honestly think this movie would be that dark?
I was hoping.
Oh, okay. But yeah, I mean, like, he has a menacing appearance, I'll give you. But, like, yeah, make him do something menacing.
Yeah, if you're afraid of fake nails.
Yeah, those are scary.
God, it's like, wow. And he always has lightning crackling around. Okay, granted, lightning crackling around.
Lightning's pretty cool, but just not enough to redeem this movie.
Yeah, wow. Okay, so basically, the bad guy is finally shown for the first time.
Yeah.
50 minutes into the movie.
Here we go.
Oh, thank God it's over.
It's over.
Oh.
Okay, the second half of this movie is really where the dumb just really piles up.
Oh, God. And it's...
Oh, wow.
Here's something. Apparently, the reason war happens, we haven't wanted peace bad enough.
Oh, honestly, I'll let that slide. I know what he's saying. It's an idea of, we have to put aside our prejudices and the things that cause us to go to war.
Yeah.
Let's talk about the more directly stupid stuff.
How about the fact that in many of the scenes, we could see the wire work?
Yep.
Or the fact that when they were on the moon, we could see the curtains in the backdrop.
Okay, so Lex Luthor contacts Superman with this frequency only Superman can hear, which, by the way, I think is a really neat idea, and I honestly think that they've used it in early movies, but I honestly think that should work in the Batman-Superman movie. Batman should just, like, come in on this secret, untraceable, thing that only Superman can hear. Hi, Superman. I'm everywhere.
Hi, Superman. This is the song that never ends. Yes, it goes on and on, my friends.
That would be cool.
Oh, my God,
okay, yes. But then he's like, all right, I'm going to blow up that building.
No. Here's the part that gets me. He knows exactly where Superman is.
He apparently knows that he's Clark Kent.
Yeah, so why hasn't he used this by, like, buying out the Daily Planet, firing Clark Kent's ass? Like, buying up every single...
No, don't fire him. Deliver him a nice package in a lead box that contains kryptonite.
Yeah. No.
As a parting gift, have this watch made of kryptonite.
No. Convert, like, all of his workspace into kryptonite. just like have wood paneling covering it. And just, desk made of kryptonite.
I mean, and that comes at the end of this dumb...
switcheroo.
The switcheroo scene, he has to be Clark and Superman at the same time, and, like, it could kind of be funny in a better context, but I'm sort of like, isn't there a nuclear man running around going to kill us all? Like, why are we bothering with this?
And wasn't there, like, a nuclear war about to start? I said to Sonic, the nuclear weapons, they're the symptom of the deeper underlying trouble. Right. If two countries are willing to go to war with nuclear weapons, they're basically willing to say, fuck the rest of the world, we hate each other this much. Yeah. Shouldn't that be the underlying problem that Superman's working to fix?
Especially with his speech at the end about world peace. Wouldn't it be great if he really had ensured world peace somehow? Like, he actually did something to negotiate a treaty between two groups of people that hated each other. And in the meantime, he'd have to punch somebody. Of course, he's Superman, but yeah, that'd be a thought.
Oh, and Nuclear Man's fighting. Basically, Nuclear Man is a giant dick to everyone in the world, but for no reason.
He confronts Superman, and, like, Lex shows up, or rather, Superman shows up at Lex's place, and instead of just being like, Lex, let me take you to jail, and then we'll talk, like, they talk, and then Nuclear Man swoops in, like, 10 minutes later at the end of this conversation. You could have taken Lex to jail during that time.
You could have taken them to jail, and back to jail, all in the same amount of time it took Nuclear Man to show up. That'd be great. He just shows up and, like, damn it, where's Lex?
And then they start fighting, and the basic gist of it is, like, Nuclear Man flies away for no reason and is a dick to some random people.
He blows up the Great Wall of China.
Which is entirely populated by white people.
Yes. And then, like, Superman stares at it and rebuilds the wall.
Rebuilds walls with his eyes. Like, why do you people need to invent new powers for it? He could just use his hands and put the wall back together at super speed.
Yes.
If you wanted him to. As a matter of fact, he doesn't need to rebuild the wall because he's busy fighting Nuclear Man.
And then,
unless he's afraid the Mongols are about to invade.
The volcanologist in me wept at this next scene, where Nuclear Man, for some reason, jumped into an Italian volcano, made it erupt, and then flew back out despite the fact that the sun couldn't hit him inside the volcano, meaning he'd be instantly killed.
Right, there's so many scenes where he's in, like, we see early, he shows up, and then he takes, like, 3 steps out of the sun, suddenly, no more power. And there's all these other times when he's, like, concealed somehow, but it's okay, he has power, because we don't care.
But the volcano starts erupting. First off, generally, it depends on what kind of volcano. The volcano, it can depend, on what type of eruption they'll have.
Yeah.
But generally, Italian volcanoes are composite volcanoes, meaning that they expel a large amount of cinders and lava and carbon dioxide and gas. Mm-hmm. An excellent example of this is the eruption of Mount Vesuvius, which buried Pompeii and Herculaneum. Mm. So, and second off, lava does not flow that fast. It flows extremely slowly. It's something like way thicker than peanut butter.
Now, for those of you who are saying, hey, you are okay with Superman flying, why are you annoyed at lava flow? The reason is, this movie sucks. And if it didn't suck, we would skip over most of the lava flow stuff.
And then, this is offensively bad. He plugs up the volcano by cutting off the top of another mountain. And then just physically stuffs it in the mouth of the volcano.
Yep.
Do you know what happens when you stop up a composite volcano? Bad. bad happens.
The pressure builds until it explodes.
Mount St. Helens is what happens when you plug up the throat of a volcano.
Yeah.
Krakatoa is what happens.
Yep. Yeah, so that didn't work out very well. And then he picks up the Statue of Liberty.
By its finger.
He's like going to throw some people. And like the statue's falling really slowly. I'm like, I guess gravity took a holiday. I don't know.
Oh, science took a holiday.
No, it was really bad. When he first fights Nuclear Man, and they're both like tumbling through the air, against the backdrop of this building, and right at the end of the shot, Superman makes the most awkward movement you can imagine. Like, it has no sense of physics and momentum, and like, I know that flying is already breaking physics, but there's a certain, it feels okay. And then he just randomly moves in like a downward diagonal left motion that has nothing to do with anything, and he's like, just being tugged along by a string or something. It looks so bad.
Oh, and then Superman's carrying it just like by its finger.
Yeah, well,
tensile strength. Yeah. What's that?
He always does that, but yeah.
Yeah, and then
Nuclear Man scratches him on the neck, and this gives him like a terrible illness somehow.
Yeah.
Because I guess he's a biohazard too. I guess radiation.
But what radiation? In the comics, the only types of radiation that affect Superman are red sun radiation and kryptonite radiation.
Right, and yellow sun radiation is what made Nuclear Man, and it's also what powers Superman. So it's
Nuclear Man.
And Nuclear Man. Okay. And this stuff just adds up, and you keep doing this like, what, how do you... What?
And then for some reason, the crystal that has all of Krypton's energy in it somehow heals him.
Well, what happens is that... So he's like ill, and he like stays in his apartment, and he's not sure what to do, and Lois comes to visit, and I said to Sith King, I wish this scene was in a better movie, because she gives this little speech about how important Superman is, and he gives a little speech about, I'm sure Superman, would be glad to hear that, and it was a sweet moment, it was nice. And then she gives him,
movie, it would have been better.
And then she gives him this package, which has no effect on the plot, so I don't know why it exists in this scene, because the next thing he does is he's using the crystal to heal himself. A, I don't know why he waited several days, and B, I was confused. I thought, was the crystal in the package? What happened? Why is the pack? Why would she have the crystal? Did you just have the crystal? The package? There's no package. Forget about the package. Okay, never mind. I didn't get it. I mean, because she said it wasn't like, here's some medicine, Clark, because you're sick. She said, if you happen to see Superman again or hear from him, hands him the package. Didn't she say that?
Yes.
So what the frick was in this package? Was it the crystal? Why would she have the crystal?
Was it snickerdoodles for Superman?
Was it like freaking just a love letter? I don't know.
Snickerdoodles.
Snickerdoodles. So he gets his energy back with the crystal, and then they keep piling it on. Freaking Nuclear Man.
Nuclear Man suddenly falls in love with Lacey because her picture is on the front page of a newspaper.
That's it. What? Oh, I must find this woman now that I've seen her picture. Why?
And then he flies over to the middle of Manhattan, lands in the middle of the town, and then for no reason roars. No reason behind it.
And Superman's already there. I guess like he saw him and just flew around off screen to follow the guy or something.
And then he says, "You will take me to the woman, or I will hurt people." And then he starts blowing up everything around him. And Superman does nothing.
Superman just stands there.
Man, stop it, or I'll yell at you some more.
No, he doesn't even yell for a while. There's a good 20 seconds just boom, 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 boom.
He's setting fire trucks on fire.
Right, which is lovely irony.
I mean, yeah. I mean, could you imagine doing that now, in the post 9/11 world where firefighters are basically superheroes?
Yeah, that would suck at any time, but yeah. So he's doing terrible things, and Superman doesn't rush to interrupt him because we have to, watch these special effects now. Like, look at how many things we can explode. Some of the explosions look cool, but some of this stuff, like he pushes this one cop back with his telekinetic powers. They were playing footage in reverse. You could tell.
Because he tumbled backwards over a car, except it wasn't tumbling backwards. It was clearly like the guy had done a Dukes of Hazzard slide over the hood of the car, but it was clearly in reverse.
And why do you love this? Why do you want? I don't. What you were made to kill Superman? Why do you want to have the woman? What are you even doing? I don't even know.
Establish earlier that he's red hot?
And what does this have to do with world peace?
Hey, wasn't there a world war about to happen?
And then he flies, and he goes up through the, and you can see the strings as they're carrying through the ceiling.
He's actually incoherent right now. Sonic Sense is actually incoherent. That's how stupid this movie is.
Oh, it was stupid. And
and there was just just really bad stuff. Superman then locks him in an elevator, rips the elevator out of the building,
right?
Because there's no sun in there, despite the fact that he had to be inside the building in order to get to the elevator,
right?
Where there was no sun.
The windows was good enough for him.
And then he throws it and puts it on the moon.
And then suddenly this, it's been a completely dark elevator, and then magically, light can get through. He totally puts it on the moon in daylight, and then the sun rises.
Why not put it face down or bury it so sunlight could never hit this?
No, also, if it's already daylight, how does the sun rise? It has to set first. It magically became nighttime just so the sun could rise on the moon. So that way, then he could get out because apparently now there's light getting into the thing. And then they had another terrible fight on the moon,
where you could not only see the wire work, but the curtains in the backdrop.
I mean, it was really slow too. Sometimes they just run throwing something.
It's like they're trying to simulate low gravity environments when you had a 0G fight earlier.
Right, and they're super speed people. So the only reason people seem to move slow in low G is because when they walk, they go through the air and they can't accelerate themselves anymore. But if you can fly, doesn't freaking matter.
Yeah.
And then,
that's assuming Superman's super muscles aren't of super density.
Right. Yeah. So
eventually, he he pounds Superman into the ground like a tent stake, which I do enjoy just because I think it was just hilarious. Right. Takes Lacey, flies her out to the point where the Earth is the size of a marble, and she's perfectly fine and able to breathe.
I don't know. He puts Superman in soft dirt, and he thinks that's gonna kill him for some reason.
Okay, that's you dumbass, not Superman.
Right, and then Superman, okay, yeah. Then he. Why does he go get Lacey? Why does he take her into space? There's no reason for them to be in space. We're going to go to space, because I felt like it. And then Superman pushes the entire moon, which I'd actually seen that scene when I was 11. I remember on TV, I think.
Yeah, by the way, why do you ever have trouble with anything if you can move the moon? Oh, and here's another thing. How much collateral damage did that cause to, the tides randomly shifting, tidal waves? Gravitic destruction of things.
I mean, he moves the moon to make it dark, right? You realize he could have done the same thing with, just a regular wall. He could just hold up a wall between Nuclear Man and the sun, and he'd be like, oh, crap, I've been blocked by this wall.
You could do that with a bed sheet.
You could do that with a bed sheet.
They did that earlier in the movie.
They did.
Oh, my God.
So this is really about overkill. This is, you could have beat him with the bedsheet, but you had to use the moon.
And then Superman takes Lacey and saves her from space, where she already is, with no helmet, so she's already dead by this point.
So he just brings her to Earth, and then he grabs Nuclear Man and he kills him by throwing him into a nuclear power plant. But
why?
Okay, when this man was a fetus, he survived the sun. Explain to me how a nuclear power plant is going to kill him in his fully grown form.
Yeah, and didn't Lex Luthor say that, the sun is a giant nuclear bomb?
Yeah.
It's full of radiation and shit. So, I'm thinking that it's less dangerous than...
Oh, my God.
Shouldn't they recharge him since he was born in the ultimate nuclear furnace?
Yeah.
Oh, and then, he gives a bullshit speech about how we just haven't wanted peace badly enough.
But the movie wasn't even about peace.
No, it was about a stupid anti-nuclear message.
I mean, it wasn't even about the stupid anti-nuclear message. It was about we need a new tough guy to fight Superman. Nuclear bombs are powerful. Okay, how about the guy's created with nuclear bombs somehow? And then we need a message, so how about world peace sort of slapped on there? But there wasn't any sense of countries actually going to war. The freaking president in his address is all just we're going to build more nukes. He's not actually going to nuke anyone. There's no Clark himself says they're not on the brink. There is no threat of war. That's sensationalism. And yet somehow that's a big issue, even though you just said it's not a big issue.
Oh my God, this movie is dumb. Oh, wow. And you want to know something else? At one point, the Soviet leader says, yes, we're going to build more nuclear weapons. If you follow history, part of the reason why the Soviet Union collapsed was because they spent so much money on their military program that they bankrupted themselves.
Yeah. Yeah.
So congratulations, you're actually accelerating your own failure to the West.
Yeah.
And where's Russia now? Well, physically still in the same place. But
it's on the moon, Sith King. We moved it.
Well, yeah, I know that, but you know.
I know you mean. Yeah. It was just
but you know, I mean, Russia's still powerful, but guess what? Soviet Union is gone, man.
Yeah.
It no longer exists.
You know, yeah. If you wanted to make a movie about Superman, if you wanted to take this title and make a movie about it, you could do that, and you would have some people that hate each other, and there's probably an evil plot to make them hate each other. You know, different nations or whatever, and they both got nukes.
You want to make it interesting? Yeah. You know, have it be on another planet. Superman is like called by another planet, and they want his expertise on how to find peace.
Well, yeah, you could. Why wouldn't you do it on Earth? I mean, you could do a nuclear war scenario on Earth with actual focus on the nuclear war scenario. It'd probably be cheaper to film too, seeing as they don't apparently have a lot of money.
Oh God. They probably do like a Baku job of
this. You know, the one redeeming thing of this movie is that one little scene I mentioned where Clark is sick and Lewis gives a little speech.
I wouldn't say that's the only redeeming feature.
I mean, what else is nice? I don't know.
This movie is so bad, it's really good, honestly. This movie takes science and beats it with an aluminum bat, and it is really hilarious for it.
This thing...
It's just so bad, you just have to watch it because, wow.
It makes my head hurt, kind of. I want to go watch something intelligent to, like, remind myself what movies are supposed to feel like.
Okay, well, actually, I have a movie thought out that it's better if I remember it correctly. Well, you'll have to check in next time to see what we review.
Oh, let's go find out.
Okay, well, are we done yet?
Yeah, I think we summed it up with it sucks.
It sucks, but watch it anyway because it sucks so much that it's hilarious.
Watch the movies in order while you're at it. Watch some good movies and then you wash it down with a suck for some reason. And then watch something good again to wash that away.
Yeah. But anyways, I'm Sith King.
And I'm Sonic Sons.
And we're signing off.